you need truth and life. Here is the Brother Leon Show. You better recognize.
What's going on, good people? What's going on, good people? This is your boy, Brother Leon, and you are tuning into another episode of the Brother Leon Show. So today, guys, we have Joy Alantis today because, guys, she has a new book coming out called Dysfunction. And, hey, it's going to be a pleasure interviewing her today because, guys, I'm telling you, she's going to go deep into why we do the things that we do. She has a character that is definitely going to spark some interest. And also, she has a journal that is accompanied with her book. So, hey, we're going to talk about when her book is coming out, the journey that she took, and how we interact in relationships. So, hey, I want you guys to listen to this interview and be blessed. Guys, I bring you Joy Alantis. And so, guys, hey, her book is on pre-order. I'm going to call her right now so we can get this interview started because, man, I'm telling you, you guys are going to be in for a treat this morning. That's the God knows truth. You're going to be in for a treat because, man, when we are in a relationships, we got to talk about the dysfunction. We got to begin to talk about why is it that, things just don't work out. Why is it that we can't keep a man? Why is it that we can't keep a woman? So we are going to explore these questions, and we're going to talk about Joy Alantis' book, Dysfunction. So, hey, let me call her right fast.
Hello.
Hey, good morning. How you doing, Miss Alantis?
I'm good. How are you, Brother Leon?
I am good. I was talking to the people this morning. I was like, hey, we got to talk about dysfunction because there are questions that need to have answers.
Absolutely.
Why is it that we can't keep a woman? Why is it that we can't keep a man? And people are tormented by these questions at times.
True.
Picking themselves apart. So I just want to welcome you to the show. Let me give you some applause. So
Thank you.
Oh, hey, no problem. I was telling the listeners, I said, man, I started following her because I love your worldview when it comes to relationships and everything everything that you've been posting on Facebook, on Miss Bennett's site, dating mechanics, her pages and so forth. And I was like, man, she has some deep stuff. And I'm serious. I'm like, man, she's deep. I love your sarcastic wit. I will say that. I love it.
Oh, well, I'm glad you like it because a lot of people want to fight me because of that.
For real?
Well, everyone can't take that wit, right? Some people are just offended by it. Mm-hmm. But it's humor for me, right? It's part of my personality that I've developed over the years, and I have fun with it, and I don't generally mean anything by it, but sometimes it's just poking the bear. But yeah, a lot of folks are like, "Oh my God, who is she talking to?"
Yeah. Okay, I totally get that. Yeah. So it's like you gotta have a tough skin if you be around you for a little bit.
Yeah. I'm known for being pretty blunt, but it's all love, right?
Yeah. So I just look at it like this. If you saying that it's all love, so you will always be honest with me. I ain't never got to worry about you telling me lies.
Right. And if I feel like I need to lie to you, I'll probably just tell you it's none of your business.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Right.
I definitely get that. So I definitely get that.
I mean, for me, it's easier to just avoid the conversation if I feel like I have to tell you something that's not factual because everything done in the dark is going to come to the light at some point. Yeah. So I try to be transparent. And it's just easier for me to not keep up with any lie that I told. And, I'll deal with the consequences of whatever bothers you about my truth whenever you're ready, at a later time, or it doesn't matter to me.
Okay. All right, then. Well, hey, let's start it off. Who are you? Talk to me.
Who am I? Well, my name is Joy Alantis. I am originally from Chicago, born to the late MacArthur Marshall and the great Betty Marshall. I have a wonderful daughter who is now 23, and I believe that I am just a wonderful being on loan to this planet to help people kind of enjoy life and be introduced to what happiness and joy really looks like. And no matter how challenging that is, I think that's kind of my calling in this world, is to just be who I am, figure out who I am, and share it in all of its glory with whoever comes in my path. So that's who Joy is.
Okay.
And now Joy is a writer. I'm a writer. I'm an author, a published author. So I'm really excited about that part.
Wow, that is so great. So what got you into the whole journalism? I mean, when did your writing journey begin?
Wow. So I come from a home of readers. My mom had and has to this day a massive book collection. I remember being about 9 or 10 years old and just kind of looking at all the books on the shelf and kind of sneaking around and figuring out what I could actually read at that time. And I was drawn to a collection of books by Donald Goines. I don't know if you are familiar with Donald Goines, but he was an urban fiction writer, and his books were completely inappropriate for a 9, 10, 11-year-old child to be reading, but they were available, and I was sneaking them off the shelf because they looked interesting, right? They had names that were like, I don't know if I can say it on your show, but like
say it. Trust me, we cuss on this show.
Dope thing, it was just like all of these things that, while it wasn't a part of my life at that time, or at least I didn't know if it were a part of my life, I was completely intrigued by it. And so I would sneak these books off my mom's shelf and I would read them, and I would get introduced to sex and poverty and projects and drugs and prostitution. And I'm like, oh my God, there's this whole life outside of my home. While I'm not interested in it, in real life as an experience, I'm definitely interested in knowing what's going on outside in the world. Yeah. So, my mom, she was just a reader. We read everything: religious books, philosophical books. We had a physician's desk reference on our shelves. So whenever we got a prescription from the doctor, before we could pop the pill, my mom would be like, look it up. Let's see what's in it. Let's see what the side effects are. And so that just kind of built my desire for not just reading, but eventually writing.
Okay, that's great, because I mean, it was instilled within you at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely good.
Yeah, it became a pastime of mine. I didn't have a lot of hobbies and activities growing up, so reading and writing was really my thing, and it has remained. I'm 43 now, so I'm still doing it.
Okay. All right. That's great. So, hey, can you tell us, what is the title of your upcoming book?
So the title of the upcoming book is The Goddess Journal Dysfunction.
Okay. So
is that your interest at all?
Yeah, definitely, because, a lot of people are going to wonder, like, what is she talking about, dysfunction, and how does that have to do with me? And so my question is, how did you come to that title?
Oh, so the Goddess Journal has been with me since about, maybe 2001, 2002. I kind of created that just for my own process, right? I love notebooks, I love journals, I love writing, and that really was my process of dealing with a lot of my pain and hurt. Early in my life, I didn't really have a voice. I didn't know, I hadn't found my voice yet. So as opposed to being able to communicate some of my concerns and issues, I would tend to just kind of retreat and write. And so the Goddess Journal was created, back in the early 2000s. Okay. Dysfunction came about 2 years ago when I got serious in the writing process. And I said, you know what? I've been talking about publishing a book for over 20 years. I'm going to do it. And as I went through the creative process of kind of looking at a template and a framework for what this looks like and how to make this come into fruition, Dysfunction came to me as a fun title, an intriguing title. And if you look at the cover and how I break the word down, and bracket out the word fun, it's really indicative of the character's process. So she has all this dysfunction going on in her life, and she's still finding a way to smile, be successful, be happy, and enjoy it, but still be on a deliberate path of getting through and over the hurdles that she encounters.
Wow, that's great. That's definitely great. As you were speaking that, I was just seeing like a mini series. I'm serious. I was seeing like a series like the Girlfriend Show.
Yeah.
I was seeing something like that. So hey, I just want to encourage you. You know, if God leads you on a path to start writing, you know, like a script.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
well, I'll let you in on a secret.
Yes.
When I first started the process, 18, 20 years ago, however long, when I first started really writing bits and pieces of this book, it was a memoir. Like, I was just like, I want to get my crazy story out. I want to release this. But 2 years ago, when I, like I said, really sat down to say, this is something that I'm going to bring to life. The first few days after I built the framework for my chapters and the titles and what they would be called and the story I would actually tell, I wrote it with the visualization that this is going to be on TV. I was inspired, the Issa Rae and Insecure, Travis Ross's Girlfriend. I was really writing it as though this is going to be on the big screen.
Yeah.
And it helped to motivate me through the process. And I think when people read through each chapter, they'll be able to see that vision as well. So I love that you picked up on that early just by, just from our conversation, because that is exactly the intention and the long-term goal for this project.
Yeah, definitely. You got to get that screenplay out because people need to hear your story. And also,
Put it in the air.
Yeah, put it in the air. Yeah, put it in the air. They need to hear your story. They also need to see, your solutions as well. So, yeah, I'm serious. I just sometimes, even in the midst of doing these interviews, I just start seeing stuff and everything. And I just want to try to encourage people, in their gift because, it all starts with that first, it's almost like a still pond. And it starts with the first pebble that you throw into the pond, and you have many ripples.
Yeah.
Serious.
Yeah.
So, I just want to encourage you. And I just want to say thank you for saying yes to God to do this because people need it. I'm telling now, for real, people need it. I'm in a relationship segment on my show right now, and we just got done talking about lies. I'm getting ready to do one on blended families. And, it's just, I think the thing is that we have to begin to realize how we are, where we are, and how we can heal to have good relationships.
Absolutely. And it's a process, it really is a process, and it's not an easy process. Mm-hmm. And that's really one of the bigger messages of this book. It's like, this is entertainment, and I want you guys to enjoy it while you're reading it. But because the circumstances, the scenarios, the characters, all of these things are so relatable just to really everyone, especially if you're, over 40 and single. It's definitely a relatable book, a relatable story. And so, I really want people to be entertained, but take away from it some things that you can apply in your own life, which is self-awareness, right? That's really like, it's cliche, but it's what everyone says. The first step to a solution is just being aware and acknowledging the problem. And most of the problems in relationships is not always the other person. It's usually something in you, your belief system, your expectations, all these other things that contribute to why you're so dissatisfied.
Yeah, exactly.
And we spend so much time pointing the finger that we avoid, well, wait a minute. Why do I even want that? Why do I even believe that that's something that I deserve? Who told me that? Who taught me that?
Yeah.
And so that's what this book really, I hope, that's the goal, is that it helps people to kind of take a step back, laugh it off, and then go, oh, shoot, I did that too, and I was wrong. Let me do what I need to do, seek the help I need to seek to start correcting that.
Yeah, exactly. So without giving away any juicy details, can you tell us, a little bit about the book, the main character in the book?
Oh, yeah. So we'll start with the cover. So when people take a look at the cover, just stare at it for a minute. You'll see the title, of course, but there's a beautiful, beautiful red rose, which is the main visual for this project. And just tell me what you see when you see that rose, because it has everything to do with what's happening inside of this book. This woman, the main character, her name is Joy Allen, and she's a beautiful woman. She's an ambitious woman. Her life is perfectly curated. It appears that she has everything she wants, everything she desires, and she goes through life, it seems, without any bumps in the road. She just looks really good. She carries everything well. But the reality is she's jumping from relationship to relationship to relationship, and she's just not clear about why she can't keep the man that she wants. And so a lot of her self-discovery is through her sexual encounters, right? Which equates to women and men both feeling very empty inside. And so they overcompensate in ways that fill them up. And for her, it was sexual intercourse filled her up. It made her feel wanted. It made her feel desired. It made her feel whole. But it was a lie. It was a lie. And so she begins to detail and reminisce with her therapist on her life and her experiences from her very first boyfriend on into her current relationship. Okay. And she starts to draw these through lines and say, oh my gosh, there's so many commonalities between my behavior and the partners that I choose.
Yeah.
And then she just goes on this long journey, going to her dad and talking to him. She's dealing with her circle of friends who was extremely, extremely supportive. But they also hold her accountable for her bad behavior. They love her and they lift her up, but they're not just laying down because Joy did it, right? They're saying, Joy, that's not even like you. And this goes against what you tell us. So you'll see a lot of friendship develop over the span of the 5 chapters. You get to see her interaction with her parents. You get to see her interaction with all of her men as she details the stories. And then you also get to see her interaction with her siblings, her in-laws, and it's quite interesting, and it's funny. It's completely funny. I mean, she has a mouth on her, so she's always saying something that she probably shouldn't say. And the cool thing about the way the book is written is at the end of each chapter, because she's actively in therapy, she is journaling. So part of her therapy is she has to journal. And so she's writing about her understanding and her progress as she moves through the chapters. So you all get to see that and go through that with her. And you can decide, is she really growing or is she just faking it like she's been doing for the last 40 years?
Yeah.
So lots of unexpected turns in her life. And that's all I'm going to say.
Okay. That is great, because I'm as you are saying it, I'm seeing it. It's like, wow, I can actually see it. Like at the end of the story, seeing this woman write out everything. I'm like, I see it.
Yeah. And she's funny. She's funny. She's transparent, right? So you get to see the hard shell that she kind of rules her, right? And which is part of most of, especially women in America today, most of us who are single, we have this hard shell to really protect us. So we think. Yeah. So you get to see this hard shell that she has at the very beginning of the story, and then it slowly starts to crack away and go away, and then things start to happen, and she goes, "Oh, wait a minute, nope, let me go back into the shell and protect myself. Time to suit up." Exactly. So it's really it's a fun story, and it has every emotion that you could imagine. Yeah. Right? It's funny, it's sarcastic, it's sad. It's encouraging. It's a lot of different things. So I hope that the way I felt when I was writing it and the message that I wanted to portray while I was writing it, that the readers really get a good sense of that. So
yeah, that's great.
I'm excited.
That is definitely great. So there's definitely light at the end of the tunnel.
I hope so.
Yeah. So my next question is, when you were writing this, I know basically that a lot of life experience at times comes out, through the writing aspect. Has any of your life experience, can some of it be found in the book?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think all creatives have to inject a little bit of themselves in their project, in their work.
Yeah.
That's really that's your mark, that's your imprint, that's a little bit of your signature. And so, absolutely, like I said, I intended 20 years ago to write a memoir, right? But as I got closer to this project, it was like, I'm comfortable telling my story and telling my business, but I am not comfortable telling, my exes, right? I don't want to put him on blast.
Yeah.
So I decided to rework it and make it a little bit more comfortable, right? So yeah, of course, I'm in the story. You opened the conversation with, you love some of my outlook on relationships and my sarcastic wit. Well, this character is all of that, right? She has a lot of sarcasm, in her dialogue. And if you know anything about sarcasm, it's something that we develop as to protect ourselves, right?
Yeah,
it's a defense mechanism, really. So yeah, I think when you read some of her dialogue, you'll hear a little bit of the Joy that you know. But majority of it is pulled from a variety of places.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just enough of me to say this is mine, but influenced by many, many others.
Okay. Because you hit some nails on the head, because people they use different defense mechanisms, to protect themselves, and I totally get it. People put the wall up, and I believe that everybody at this point in somewhere along the journey, it's the vulnerability. I never thought that vulnerability would ever be to the place where it's almost like it's painful. So I'd rather put something else up than for you to mess with my vulnerability, because it's very sensitive.
Oh, it's frightening. I mean, it feels like a loss of control, right? When you have to just lay your cards on the table and let someone either embrace you and accept you in that space, or completely use it as, fuel to the fire and destroy you. Yeah. Right. So for me, it's like, you got to make up your mind. Like, am I safe to be vulnerable with this person?
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of times, I mean, just keeping it real, a lot of times we don't feel that, even with the person we're laying up with every night.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a problem. And we have to figure out why. Why are we entering relationships and sharing lives and space in our bodies with someone that we really don't trust enough to expose ourselves to?
Yeah.
Like our inner feelings. And so yeah.
Yeah. You hit the nail on the head, because even when it comes to sex, it's almost like, I ain't gonna let you take me that far. You ain't gonna have me out here looking for you.
Exactly.
12 in the afternoon with a flashlight. You ain't getting my. No, you ain't doing that move on me, bro.
Right. Like, nope.
Nope. Sorry.
Nope. Give me all hands up. Nope.
Exactly. Because I've seen it. I've seen women get their nose open. I've seen guys get their nose open, and next thing they on the phone. Why are you doing this to me? I love you.
Right.
I just want you to touch me. Just touch me, please. I'm like, I'm serious.
I mean, hey, figuring it out. But yeah, being vulnerable, it's frightening, but it's something that we have to do if we want to become better versions of ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. And I explain it like this. You got to begin to get to the place where you can accept the reality of a person versus the way you imagine that they are.
Right.
Because a lot of times people fall in love with the imagination. They fall in love with the potential. And I get the fact that there are a lot of women, they fall in love with the potential of a man. I'm like, nah, you need to see him in reality. Serious.
Yeah, I agree. I'm guilty. I mean, I had to say, like, here is the problem. I have got to get rid of this image of you that I've created in my mind of who I think you are.
Yeah.
And let you rebuild yourself up for me as who you actually are. Because, man, have I been lying to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I told myself you were something way different than who you present yourself to me as. So that's not your fault, dude. I apologize. It's my freaking fault. And that's hard. It's hard to just admit to yourself that you over here acting a total fool because you want a man.
Yeah.
Nope. So guilty.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: Is there like a scenario in your book where your character gets mad? And I mean, I've seen this in real life. Matter of fact, it happened to me. 3 tires flat, car scratched up, sugar in the tank. Anything like that?
So she is not that person. She's not that woman. Okay. A little bit more refined than that type of retaliation. But she has a mouth on her that, would make you probably want to slash her tires. So there is absolutely no violence in this book in that sense.
Okay.
There are some violent words because she has a couple of arguments that she tells the story about with some of her exes that are like, did you just say that to that man? You just completely emasculate him because you're mad because he's not available for the date that he promised he would take you on. Like, really, girl?
Yeah.
So she doesn't, she would never, well, at least in this book, she has not displayed any violent tendencies outside of her mouth, her tongue.
Okay.
And that was something I stayed away from purposely. In my author's bio, I talk about being a domestic violence survivor. And so I really didn't, I took a whole chapter out that included violence.
Okay.
But once I got into the editing process, I was like, you know what? We have enough of this. And there's enough going on that relates to her dysfunction and healing of her dysfunction. Let's just keep that out of it. So, so no, she's crazy, but she's not that kind of crazy.
Okay. Let me ask you this, because some of the stuff that you say, I'm like, this character has to have a brother, because brothers will be like, girl, you can't be talking to men like that.
She doesn't. She started off with 2 brothers and a sister, but no, she only has you got to read the book. She has she has one sibling, as far as we know. Okay. I'll say it that way.
Okay, I'll stop right there because I want people
stop right there.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop. Yeah,
there you go. As far as we know, she only has one sibling.
Okay,
and it's a girl.
Okay, all right, cool. Well, yeah, we'll definitely stop right there. Yeah, because I think the crazy part is that I think probably the worst thing that a guy can go through is, oh my God, if his girl knows how to read you up and down, oh my God, I'm like, dude, you don't want that.
Man, it's horrible. I'll tell you a personal story, and I'll protect the guilty, except for myself. I dated a guy for a long time, and it was one of the most intense relationships I had because we were really investing in each other, and it was to date the longest active relationship that I was in. I'm not talking about taking a break for 2 years and then getting back together. I mean, like, consistently in this relationship with this man. And we got into it one night so bad. I mean, and he kept saying, we need to stop talking because one of us is going to say something that we regret. Mm-hmm. And you know how women, we are. So I kept going. I kept going. And when I got to the point where I said the most and it was like 2 full sentences. It was horrible. I to this day, I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe I said those things to that man. But when I hung up the phone, can I tell you, I was physically ill for an entire week.
Wow.
It was so bad that I could not get out of the bed. And it wasn't just, oh, I'm depressed. You know what I mean? It was like, you went there. Like, you went to the lowest of lows. And it tore me up. And it was in that moment, I'm thankful that I had that moment, but it was in that moment that I decided I will never, ever, ever disrespect and emasculate a man again in my life.
Wow.
And and so now when I argue, I kind of, hey, did you feel disrespected? Did I say anything that, and I haven't even gotten close to the words that came out of my mouth that night.
Yeah.
But, it was tough. And the fact that I had such a physical response kind of took me into the spiritual side of these interactions that we're having. It was like, that's not who you are. That's not who you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And you better learn from this, or you're going to be feeling like that, not just physically, but emotionally. You're never going to have the things that you want. You better pull yourself together. Yeah. And I took a break. I just took a break and worked on me for about 3 or 4 years straight.
Wow. That. Let me give you some applause for that.
Now,
I'm
not completely cured, though, Leon. I'm not completely cured.
Yeah, but see, you came to awareness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the thing is that, the Bible says that the woman is the glory of the man. And so, a lot of some women, I can't say all of them, but there are some women, they are quick to emasculate a man. They're even quick to emasculate their son. So I tell women, I'm like, look, you have to begin to be conscious of the words that you speak to men and especially your sons.
Yeah.
Especially them, because if you get emasculated by your mom at times, that will pretty much predestine your course. And then you see a lot of men, they hate women, they're very misogynistic, but it all began in the home because of the words.
Right.
So I'm so glad that you committed to getting healing and everything. So I just commend you for that.
Well, thank you. I would like to give credit to my mom for that. I remember several years ago, she said to me, like, it's our fault. It's women's fault, or at least a large portion of the blame for why our men are the way that they are. Like stripping away the societal implications, stripping away, the systemic things. In our home, a lot of our men are raised by women alone.
Yeah. And,
she said we have to heal as a collective group of women and start teaching our sons and our daughters something different. And that really took me on a different path of how to interact with my brother, how to understand him a little bit differently. Even with my dad, when he was alive, it helped me forgive him.
Yeah.
And, like I said, my mom, who raised her brothers when my grandma passed, she had this firsthand experience with not just her husband, but her siblings, her friends who are majority male. And she was able to pass that bit of advice on to me. And, again, like I said earlier, I'm not cured. I'm not perfect. I'm nowhere near it. I'm still making mistakes every day. I think I cursed my bae out yesterday almost. And I was just like, you know what? Okay, bye. I'll talk to you later. Yeah. But it sparked something in me to say that, women in general, if we start doing something differently, and I know a lot of women are going to be like, hell no, Joy, you're wrong. We take responsibility for everything and everybody. And I agree with that. But I also think that, if we set a code and a standard for how we interact with our children, with our men, I mean, who are they gonna cheat on? If you know what I mean? Like, who are they gonna cheat with if all the women are saying, well, you got a woman, I'm not with that.
Yeah.
You have a wife, I'm not with it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and obviously it goes deeper than that, but that's just some surface level stuff that's kind of in my head. So I do thank my mom for giving me that piece of advice.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm telling you, I think the one thing that I love about our women is that, they have the tendency to birth. I mean, that you give a woman a dream, you tell her your dream, she can show you how to birth it. She can actually, refine that thing. And the one thing that I love is that, women, they birth generations.
Yeah.
And you have the ability, you can birth dysfunction or you can birth healing. And I encourage women to embrace the healing aspect of the journey.
Yeah. Listen, I couldn't have said it better. I mean, as a man, for you to say that, I think it shines some light on the questions that women have with each other. Like, what's wrong with him? Why doesn't he listen? Or why is he so stupid? These are the conversations that's happening among girlfriends.
Yeah.
And it's not until you get in that group of people, of women, who say, you got to see beyond that. Like, he's hurting too. He's dealing with some of the same issues that put you in the space of hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So why are you forgiving of yourself, but not of him?
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I believe that it's the way that men are raised sometimes. Because if you look at how certain boys are raised, we tell our boys, you need to man up. I'm like, he's a little boy.
Right.
You know what I mean? But we never say that to girls. Or sometimes we do say, girls, you need to put your big girl panties on. I'm like, come on, she's a little girl.
Yeah.
And these are the things, and that's how it starts. It's like, you're already showing him he can't express himself.
Yeah.
So and then you have the flip side. You have some of those mothers who, into their sons, it's almost like, when you gonna let that boy grow?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna be competing with his girlfriend pretty soon. I'm serious.
Oh, I've experienced that. Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, Mom, this is your son, lady. Get out of my way. What are you doing?
Exactly. And I told my son, I said, son, when you get a wife, it has to be God, then you, then your wife.
Yeah.
It has to be God, you, then your wife. It can't be God, then your mom, then your wife. I'm like, nah, man. And he asked me, he was like, Dad, why? Because I said, son, because pretty soon you're going to have a family of your own. Your wife has to come after you. It has to be God, then you, because you got to make sure that you're healed. You got to make sure that you whole. You got to make sure you're hearing from God, and then your wife, and then your mom, or better yet, your kids, then your mom.
Right.
But you got to make sure that you have that order right. And I told him, I was like, man, please, you ain't going to be sleeping with your mom. And I know your mom does a lot of stuff for you, but you got to get to the place where you begin to have a little bit of independence.
Right.
And I ain't going to lie. Some moms, they hate it. Oh, my baby don't need me no more. Yeah, he going to need you. He going to need your advice.
Oh yeah,
that's the guy.
I wasn't blessed with a son. I have an amazing daughter, but I have a couple of nephews, and I just hope that the lessons that they're getting from their parents and their auntie will help push the culture forward in this space of relationships, because we have really done a piss poor job at showing them what healthy relationships look like, and good communication and honor, right? It's a lot of baby mama and baby daddy situations out there that just look really, really bad and are really bad because we just don't have the basic principle of respect for each other. And, I'm not saying this as like preaching, because I have my own issues, but I definitely notice it, and hopefully I can be, and in my own family, be a part of what the solutions look like. So, we just got to do better, and doing better requires some heavy lifting, some deep soul work, and some vulnerability that can only be present if we begin to trust each other. And, where do we start to gain that?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head with trust, because without trust, you don't have anything. I'm serious. I think a lot of people, and I'm trying to understand, why is it that we don't develop trust during the whole dating aspect? People get married. Oh yeah, we're going to get married. I'm going to trust them fully when we get married. I'm like, nah, you better do it now. I'm telling you.
Right. Whatever. Right. Don't wait until you get married to do something.
Yeah. I'm serious. And I think those are the conversations that we need to have. We need to have those conversations. And everything. So at this point right now, here's my next question.
Yeah.
How can people begin, how can men and women begin to get to the place where they begin to heal or go on that healing journey from dysfunction?
So I don't really know how people can. I'll tell you what I started to do and what triggered my journey through to healing. It really was just, thinking I'm the most amazing, most beautiful, most brilliant, ambitious, dope woman on the planet. And then looking around going, but I'm doing every damn thing by myself. Where's my support? Where's my husband?
Yeah.
Why am I alone? Why am I so independent? Why am I so damn strong? Where's my daddy? Where's my brother? Where are the men in my life? And I really got tired. I exhausted myself because, in my personal life, I am, as my girlfriend would say, that bitch, and that's not, and she doesn't mean it in a derogatory sense. She means it like you have bossed up and you take care of everything and everybody. And so I got exhausted and I was just like, I cannot keep going at this rate. Yeah. I'm going to kill myself, right? Because I'm not going to be able to be healthy enough to live. And I'm going to be angry. I don't want to be a bitter, single, beautiful woman. That is not you. Right? That's not you.
Yeah, exactly.
So for me, I just got really tired of failing in a space where I thought that I should be doing just fine. And then that kind of triggered a little bit more of research and digging and self-service, self-awareness of what's wrong with you. And it wasn't really like what's wrong with you in that sense of, just not having self-love. It was like you're taking missteps, and you can't be this amazing, and all of your relationships end up the same way. All of your relationships have the same exact complaint, and so I didn't want to absolve myself from any of the contribution to the breakdown of those relationships. And I just said, you know what? Focus on you. You want everyone to focus on you. You want your man to give you attention. You want your man to take care of you. You want your man to do all these things. You don't even do that for yourself. Your feet are ashy. You ain't put no lotion on in 2 days. You haven't cooked a meal. You've been eating out every day. Your hair is not combed. Your bed isn't made. Like, you're not even taking care of yourself. So how the hell are you asking and demanding for someone to come in your life and do things for you that you're not even willing to do for yourself?
Oh my God. Amen. Amen, Walls.
So won't he do it?
Yeah, because I'm serious. That has been my question for years. I'm like, why is it that, people ask for something that they ain't willing to do for themselves?
Because we were told we were princesses and we don't have to do anything but be pretty.
Wow.
And go in the kitchen and cook a little bit, maybe, and have sex with you like no one else in the world will have sex with you.
Oh my God. See, you start in trouble. I'm telling you, it's going to be a whole army full of women talking about, yo, we got to go get this. We got to go get her.
I mean, it's true. Like, really, I wrote an article years ago. I was like, what are you bringing to the table other than your ass? Ooh. And then when you think about it, it's like, do you know, women are beautiful. Every shade of us, every size of us. I have eyes, I can see it, and I'm not a lesbian. We are beautiful. I will stop in my tracks and go, you are beautiful. Oh my God. So I know if I can see that as a woman who's not attracted to a man, I know y'all are going crazy when y'all see beautiful women. So for me, it's like, while sex should be deeper than just a physical attraction, the reality is it don't start on a deep level. You see something you like that's pretty, you want to get it.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to smell it, sniff it, see how it tastes, all of that. So if my only contribution to my relationship is my tricks in the bedroom and how pretty I am, that's not going to last long.
No, it's not.
Because the reality also is, as a woman, I can't always sleep with you. Number two, I'm not always going to be attracted to you and want to sleep with you. And three, I'm going to be tired and not want to be flipping and flopping and doing all kinds of crazy stuff to keep you satisfied every single time.
Yeah, exactly.
So that can't be my only contribution.
Yeah, but people make that a priority. It's almost like I'm giving you sex, and that's all it's about. As long as I give you sex, you give me everything else.
Well, I mean, and that's part of the reason why, I've had 5 boyfriends. I just, those are the things that I'm a beautiful woman, right? I look okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm smart. I'm funny. I can hang with one of the boys. I can help you build your business. I can sex you up and down, across and in between. But what else am I really bringing to the table?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I want you to bring the money, the house, the cars. I want you to bring all the provision.
Yeah.
But what am I providing?
Yeah.
I don't want to cook. I don't want to rub your feet. I don't want to deal with your kids and your baby mamas. Your mama getting on my nerves. I don't like your brother. I don't like your friends. Your job is too demanding. It requires too much of your time. All I'm doing is complaining.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then we wonder why relationships end. And it's like, y'all didn't talk about the small details, because those little things right there, they break people up all the time.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm serious. I mean, even with the holidays, like, say like you started going over, to your family's holidays, for like the last 2-3 years. And then next year he's like, hey, I want to go over my mom and them house. I don't even like your mom. What? I'm serious. I've seen that. I'm like, are you kidding me? And then what about the year I don't feel like going nowhere? I just want to stay home. Can you cook? I ain't cooking. I ain't cooking nothing. We can go out. Yeah. I mean, it's little stuff. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I think one of the things that I want to do in my union is create my own tradition, create our own traditions, because I remember one of my boyfriends from the past, he was just like, well, that's not how my parents did it. And I was like, and your mama got her ass beat and your daddy cheated on her every day and then divorced her. I don't want to do any of the things that your mother did.
Yeah.
So can we create our own family tradition, things that actually work for us?
Yeah.
And I find that has been a little difficult because we are kind of creatures of habit. And, most of us do put our parents on pedestals, even if they were terrible, which is fine. But everything that my parents did didn't work. And even if it worked for them, it doesn't mean it's going to work for me and my partner.
Yeah.
And so that's something that, I'm hoping as I move forward through this development of this relationship, that's something that we really kind of zone in on, because our tradition for what works for us as a unit and our immediate family may look very different than what even the world says is okay. And I'm cool with that.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I see? I believe that you can take aspects of different parts of tradition from each side of the family and make them your own. Like,
for sure.
Yeah, like there's like with my wife, one of their family traditions for the holiday is making this stuff called Waldorf salad, and it's like you mix it with apples and apples and some type of nuts and mayonnaise. I'm like, nah, you lost me with the mayonnaise. I ain't eating that.
Mayonnaise, now hold on.
Yeah, and I'm like, nah, sorry, nah. But that's what she does. I respect it, and I will go out. I will get her the ingredients that she needs to make it, but I ain't eating it.
But you're not eating it. Exactly. And listen, that's okay. Look, this year was the first year that my mother and my mom, with her fine self, will be 70 in March. Mm-hmm. And she raised all 10 of her siblings since I think she was 18 or 19 when my grandmother passed, and she took on those her siblings. My mother has cooked Thanksgiving dinner since she was 18 or 19.
Wow.
And so this year, my daughter and I said, nope, we're going to do it. And so we cooked Thanksgiving, and she just sat around like the queen that she is.
Wow.
And it was my first year making the sweet potato pie. So she kind of hated on me because I was like, well, I'm going to do the regular ones with the regular pie crust, and then I'm going to do a graham cracker crust. And she was like, what? But here's what's fun. So the regular pie crust it wasn't right. It tastes okay, but it wasn't a Betty pie, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But the graham cracker crust, she liked it. She was like, now this tastes good. And I'm going, see, Ma, I added my own little flavor to it. I used your recipe, just add a little different crust, and you liked it. See why you were hating on me and my pie making abilities. And, she laughed about it. But, we did something different. And it worked out. It was okay. We had a wonderful time and a great meal.
Yeah. There it is right there. You take something and then you put some finesse on it and make it your own.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. Inspired by my mama, right?
Exactly. And that's what we got to do, because I ain't gonna lie, like Christmas here, I used to watch my mom. I mean, my mom, she would do Thanksgiving dinner and then Christmas dinner. I was like, I ain't doing Christmas dinner. We gonna have Christmas breakfast. Because, we got the kids. And I'm like, man, Christmas breakfast it's less expensive.
Yep.
And then I said, if people come by, they can come by, and y'all getting the hell out at 12 noon.
Right. Get out of my damn house. Yes. I want to cuddle with my wife and watch movies tonight, not clean up and listen to y'all play spades.
Exactly.
I got you. I'm with you all the way.
Exactly. Because I remember going to my grandmother's house, and her tradition was chitlins. I was like, oh, hell no.
Oh, no.
That will never be in my
Oh,
house.
yeah. Look, I don't even listen. I tell people, you are not black anything magic if you eat chitlins. I'm sorry. No offense, but I'm
serious. I'm like, how can y'all eat that mess? I'm like, I can't get past the smell. I'm like, take my black card now. I ain't that black.
Right. That is not the kind of black I want to be, sir. Nope. I'll pass. Moving right along.
I'm serious. I'm like, yeah, that's one tradition we ain't having. I'm like, nah, that can stay back there. I'm serious.
Oh my goodness.
I'm serious. But I just look at it. Yeah, we need to take these things and begin to implement them and then create, what we want to do for our family. And so, that's been the norm here, for a while now. So
good.
But hey, I just want to ask you, about your book. So what was the hardest thing? What was the hardest thing? Was the editing part the hardest thing about creating your book?
Oh, the hardest part about creating the book, it was so many difficult moments in the process. The first thing was committing to finishing it, right? Like setting the goal. You're going to get this out. I changed my release date 3 different times.
Wow.
Because I had so many things going on in my life, right before I started to do it, I lost my dad, and then I had to deal with that. I moved, from one state to another. I started a new project. It was a lot. My daughter was starting to go through her growing up phase and becoming a woman, and like, oh, wait a minute, I have some issues with you, Mom. Let me talk to you about that. Yeah. So it was a lot going on. So the timing and the commitment to sitting down and writing, which is something that I love to do, was the first thing that was difficult. When I got into the writing piece, the second thing that was difficult was writing this story and it not being me. So Joy, the main character in the book, she had 3 different names before she became Joy. Okay. And the reason she became Joy is I could not get the words out onto the paper in a way that I thought was good enough with another name. I had to write the story as though it were me. And so I said, okay, let's copy and paste, this name and just make it my name until I get to the end of the story. And then I'll go back and I'll change her name back to what it was intended to be.
Okay.
Well, once I got to the end of the story, I was like, oh, this works. She is Joy Allen. That is who she is. And so I kept it. I don't know if that was a mistake, but we're going to find out soon enough. The editing process is crucial. It's time consuming, and you probably know this when you're looking at something over and over and over again, you miss everything. Yeah. And so I sent it out twice for professional edit, and even my editor missed some things. And when we went back to talk about it later, I said, I think we got so caught up in the story that we just overlooked a lot of the stuff, which was a good sign because that said, hey, this story is good enough. People are going to like it. Yeah. And just in full disclosure, I got up this morning and I opened up one of my proofs and I said, oh, Lord, I just found another mistake.
Wow.
I a new author, I'm self-published. I do not have a team. I did pay people to edit and design and do those things. But I did not have a ghostwriter. My proofing happened after I submitted the book and thought I was done with it. And so I think this editing process, I probably have one or two more edits before there are absolutely no mistakes in my book. And they're tiny, and I think people will forgive me for them. But I mean, literally this morning, I was like, how did what what happened? Like, how did I miss it? So I walked to my daughter's compute room and I said, listen, you need to pull up InDesign because we got some work to do tonight. So the editing process is crucial. It really is, for me, the hardest part, but there are difficult moments throughout.
Let me ask you this. Was there any place along where you just been like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll quit.
No, absolutely
okay.
not.
Okay.
No. So the one thing, I have quit on relationships. I mean, I had a guy tell me, you're such a damn quitter, Joy, but I'm like, dude, I gave you like 10 chances. I don't typically quit. I like to see things through.
Okay.
And this really is a passion work for me. Like,
okay.
This is something that I've wanted to do since I was a little girl. I said, I'm going to publish books, I'm going to be an author, and I'm going to speak to the masses about my work.
Okay.
And while I've helped other people write their books and get through projects and things of that nature, I tabled myself, right? I tabled myself to help others. I knew this was going to happen, and this was the book. So no, I never got discouraged to just throw the project away. And I'm just thankful that I was able to push through it. So yeah.
Wow, that's great. That's great. So let me ask you this, because I know this was a struggle with when I came out with my book, the formatting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, how is it I can't find a formatter? I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
So listen, I don't mean to sound cocky, but I designed I knew the design elements of my book immediately. So at the onset of confirming the title, confirming the chapters, the first thing I did after that was I went home and I did a dummies version of a layout of my cover, my chapters. And when I hired someone, a gentleman out in London who I think is freaking amazing. He's worked on other projects for me. When I sent him my book and said, hey, it's finally ready after all these years, here is the inspiration that I created. He said, I love it. I love your cover. I love the interior design. And so he just took what I had done and made it professional.
Wow,
so
great.
I have an eye for that.
Okay.
And any of the work in my consulting firm business and any job that I've ever had, if you step foot into my home, you'll see that.
Okay.
And so I didn't have that problem. I was able to have a vision and thankfully have contact with someone who was a professional designer who was able to take it and run with it. So the book is absolutely beautiful. I can't wait until you all get to open it and see how beautifully laid out it is. It's gorgeous.
Wow, that's great. So let me ask you this: what is it going to be on Amazon, or are you just doing sales yourself?
It's going to be everywhere worldwide.
Okay.
So the pre-sales are open now, and you can pre-order the book at my website, which is www.thisfunctionbook.com. And so the pre-order sales will come directly through me. It is available on Amazon and on Barnes & Noble website. And so it'll be a combination. I'll be fulfilling some orders that come directly through my site. And then, of course, folks who are Amazon heads or Barnes & Noble heads, they can get it online. And then hopefully, prayerfully, I will actually have books in some of the physical locations across the country. So that's what we're working on now. And so far, so good. We're just getting started. So I'm what, 5-6 days in? Yeah. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Are you going to be doing an audio book?
Yes, I am. My daughter told me she doesn't like my voice because she said I sound fake. So what I'm trying to do now is decide if I want to take the time and do it myself with a studio, of course, or if I'm just going to be able to hire someone. So, you know, and I think that can come in time. It's not a priority of mine, but definitely I understand that people like audiobooks. I am not an audiobook fan. I like paper.
Yeah.
And so we'll see. We'll get to that point, but I think it's in the horizon.
Okay. All right. Yay, definitely. So let me ask you this. Do you see this book, turning into like any type of coaching, life coaching?
The short answer is no, because I don't want to. But I think the reality of my life is, things really do happen organically. And while I don't ever intend to be anybody's coach, not at that level, maybe in my own small circle, but at that level, that puts a little bit of pressure on me to get it right.
Yeah.
Which I'm still making mistakes, and I'd rather teach from a place of expertise than failure. And right now, I'm still in that space of you still haven't completely figured this thing out yet, honey. So no, it's not my intent, but never say never, right? It may absolutely be the path that I am called or pushed to. And with the way this thing is set up, Leon, it's easy to happen, because what we haven't talked about is there's an actual journal that is that I wrote as an add-on to this book. So for the people who want to go on the journey with the main character and do some self-work, some self-discovery, there's a 182-page journal that will guide you through some of the questions that the main character had to ask herself about her life and how she got there, and her relationships and her beliefs and her goals and what she wants to do better. And it's quite dope, actually. So it could. But I have the Alatias and the Zoe Williams and the other relationship coaches around me that are close enough where that's their lane, and I can forward those people over to them easily.
Okay. No, because I'm serious. I see people running up to you and it's just asking you, relationship questions. Ms. Joy, what you think? I see that.
Hey, look, that sarcastic girl gonna come out. She's gonna be like, "Leave his ass, girl."
But see, they will appreciate your honesty. Seriously, they will appreciate your honesty, because a lot of people are stuck at the crossroads. It's like, "Ooh, do I love him? But he make me feel so good." And then,
well,
I
don't know.
I was just looking at some of your chapters in your book. I was like, "Oh my God!" I was like, "Yo, I gotta get this." I'm like, I just want to read that chapter that talks about familiar dick. I'm like, man, what's that about?
A familiar dick. That's what it's about. It's about familiar dick. And you see how I bracketed that?
Yeah.
Liar.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We tell ourselves lies all the time to justify what it is we want to do.
Yeah.
Right? So I want to have sex. So I'm going to call my ex and have him come over. I'm going to stop by, because as a woman, my numbers can't go up. So I'm just going to keep having sex with the familiar dick. And I'm a lie to myself and tell me that has nothing to do with anything, because I already know.
You know what? You're the first woman I said about numbers. I can't have my numbers go up.
I was raised with men. I got brothers and uncles, and I'm a mess. I like to say I'm one of the boys, but my boo says you are not one of the boys. I'm like, yes, I am. He's like, no, baby, you are not one of the boys. Don't worry.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, wow. But see, I see that, because a lot of women are like, nah, I'm gonna keep fooling with him until I get, the next guy comes along. And I see, and I see it. It's like, you're still giving yourself emotionally, and then the next guy comes along, you may not be able to give yourself emotionally to him.
Yeah. In the book, it's a section in chapter 5 called "Traumatized." Yeah, and it has a lot to do with that. But familiar dick is exactly what it looks like, and she takes advantage of her exes and satisfying her needs. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And while I'm not mad at her, it's like, just tell the truth to yourself at least.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because, I mean, we all done been down that route. Sometimes you may, oh my gosh, she calling me back. She want to get with me. Nah, she just ain't found the one yet.
Or you get that hey big head text and you're like, oh.
Yeah, I got that text one time. What am I doing? Oh yeah, come on over.
Listen. I will not divulge my truth right now, but I won't lie to you either. So next question.
Look, all right. I'll tell on myself. And I'm like, I should have known. I'm like, you just came from the club, or what, you just came off of a date or something? And
Yep.
She's like, don't worry about it. Come on, let's do this. I'm like, all right.
Right. You were like, okay.
Yeah. You ain't getting no complaints out of me. And then the crazy part is, it was like a business transaction. After it was done, she just rolled out. I'm like, damn.
She didn't get her $40 though. What's up with that? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Now, see, I felt like Marcus. I felt like Marcus and Boomerang. I was holding up the blanket. Like, damn.
Oh goodness. Oh man. It's real. It's the reality of life as an adult, man. It happens.
I was like, damn. That's all. And then I was thinking to myself, like, damn, that's all I was. I was like, man. I was like, that's all right. I came real good. That's what counts.
There you go. There you go.
So I said, hey, I can't be too mad.
Mutually beneficial. There you go.
Exactly. I wasn't looking for it, but it came.
Okay. Make the best of it. Learn from it. Move on.
Exactly. And that's what I like about your book, because you pretty much explain that, it's a journey.
Yeah.
It's definitely, it's a journey. It's a journey through life, a journey through healing, a journey through asking different questions to find out who you are. Because once you get to that place of awareness, you can make better decisions.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell us, how can people follow you on social media and really start getting into the webpage, and also get a hold of not only the pre-orders, but also the journal, the Goddess Journal?
Absolutely. So I am actively on Instagram. My handle is Joy Alantis, JoyAlantis. You can also find me on Facebook by the same handle, Joy.Alantis. And, interact with me there. I'm pretty responsive. So if you want to know anything about me, it's all on social media. I'm transparent. As far as the pre-orders of the book, you can visit www.dysfunctionbook.com, and you can pre-order the novel as well as the journal. They are both listed there. The book comes in paperback and hardcover, so you have those options. There will be an ebook available. You can also find me on Amazon.com. Make sure when you search Dysfunction, you put the brackets around fun. Otherwise, you're going to get a bunch of stuff about limp dicks. So, so just put the bracket around fun, and you will find me there. And then also, if you're a Barnes & Noble shopper, you can find me on their website as well. So yeah.
Wow. Hey, let me give you some applause.
Yeah. Thank you.
So let me ask you this: Can you leave the listeners with some words of wisdom and encouragement?
I don't know, but I'll try.
Okay.
I think the thing that works for me, I can offer that, and that's, be forgiving of yourself. Be kind, be gentle to yourself. Don't try to be perfect, because that is a lie. Perfection is a lie. Do your best and be flexible with your goals, right? You can change your plan along the way to better serve the person that you are today, because we are all works in progress. We are all learning and growing. And what you believed yesterday, you may not believe today based on an experience that you had in between that time. So just be a little bit flexible with yourself, set goals, make adjustments as needed, and live life, enjoy it, have fun.
Yeah. Hey, I totally agree. But hey, I want to say thank you. Thank you for coming on the platform and definitely, saying yes, to your passion and everything.
Well, thank you for having me. I had a lot of fun doing this, and I really appreciate you giving me an opportunity to speak to you and your audience. So eternally grateful for that.
Oh, hey, no problem. I want you to come back on, because we doing relationship
Okay,
stuff.
I'll come back.
Yeah, we doing relationship stuff, because, hey, I look at it. I just did a show on the Friend Zone with Eating It Dale, and that was good.
I listened to that one.
Yeah, that was good. I was like, wow, man, I never looked at it like that. But yeah, maybe the friend zone might have saved me from some bad relationships.
Absolutely.
But,
absolutely.
Yeah, I think the thing that I definitely want to start getting into is, the blended family. We still haven't had the real gritty talk about sex. So I definitely want to, I'm like, okay, Lord, who can I bring in for this? I might have to get me a sex therapist or something. I'm serious.
I mean, go for it. There's some folks who are more than willing to share that type of detail. So I say, it has to be uncovered. Your platform is giving folks an opportunity to hear different ideas and be honest and open about who they are and what they may want. So go for it.
Yeah, I definitely will. So I definitely want to have you back because I definitely, you really, stoked the fire when you were talking about, hey, I can't have my numbers go up. I'm going to keep going back to this dude until, so we're going to talk about why we go back to the ex.
Hey, I'm open to have that conversation with you. So just let me know when, and I am there.
Okay. All right. Well, I will definitely be hooking up and getting in contact with you probably, first of the year or so.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I had so much fun.
All right. Hey, you have yourself a blessed day.
You do the same.
All right. Thank you. All right. Bye. All right, guys. That was Joy Alantis. Man, I'm going to tell you guys, get her book, get the journal, because I'm going to tell you, man, as I was listening to her words, I saw the series. I'm serious. I saw the series. I saw this book turning into a series. And so, hey, Miss Joy, I just want to say thank you. Definitely do a screenplay because I see it. I see it just as clear as day. And the fact that you gave confirmation to those words. So, guys, I'm telling you, you're going to learn. You're definitely going to learn because she is giving you passion. She's giving you life experience, but she's also giving you wisdom. Because we have to get to the place where we are committed to being whole. And you can change the dates when it comes to your life. You can change the date. Don't bound yourself to a clock. Seriously, don't bind yourself to a clock. And one thing I want you guys to take away, man, is that you can make it happen. Your dreams can happen. That's the one thing that I want to say. She's making the dream happen. So thank you, Ms. Joy Alantis.
Walk in the truth that makes you free every day. Follow Brother Leon on all social media outlets.